Grace and peace, everybody. We are back. You saw the thumbnail. You saw the title. You know what we're about to do. I've worked hard. I put out that net. I done pulled it in. I done caught a catch, y'all. And you all are going to be encouraged and blessed today. Jason, what in the world are you talking about? I'm talking about my guest today. Let me go ahead with no further ado. I got Dennis Spurling in the building. What's happening, man? How are you?
Man, I'm blessed in the Lord, brother. Thank you so much for this invitation. It's an honor to be here with you. I'll say that. Thank you so much.
Well, thank you, man. I've just been I hate to be like a simp. I hate to be a fan, but I've enjoyed your commentary with Willie D, your commentary with others about the Carmelo Anthony trial. And I hate to say it like this, but man, you just got your head on right. And I'm like, I got to get this guy on here. I got to hear what he's got to say about this, because your perspective has definitely been one that's been encouraging to my channel and others as well. So I just want to give you a chance to come in. So before we get too far afield, because I'm already running at 110, real quick, who is Dennis Spurling?
Man, I'm a Christian. Let's start with that. And I agree to accept this because I like your name, you know, and I've been, and specifically, I'm a Southern Baptist, and I tell people I was born a Southern Baptist, and I'm gonna die a Southern Baptist, and that's my grandmother's religion. She was a black woman from Mississippi who picked cotton, daughter of a preacher in the Delta, Mississippi, and that's who raised me largely. I went to church with her. I had, you know, the church fans on a Sunday morning and everything. So
I know about that.
And the thing that motivates me is to try to leave this world a better place than I found it. And so it's not always about extracting resources and becoming rich and successful and famous, especially if you do it the wrong way. Because as they say, you know, all money ain't good money, is the old saying. And you know, when I was going through my bachelor phase after my first divorce, and I'm married again. I love my wife. She's a wonderful woman, the best woman I've ever had, and she's a Christian woman too. But before that, I'm in the midst of divorce. My children are not with me. I have hundreds of thousands of dollars available to me in the bank, and I'm too tired and sick to even get out to bed. I had 4 cars downstairs and nowhere I wanted to go. I could be anywhere in the world and nowhere I wanted to go. So who I am now is not who I was. I'll say that. I mean, I literally went through a transformation like Job. I had to deal with the harshness and to no fault of my own. I did everything they said do. And so it was my reliance. And I think it was after 2011, I really started reading the Bible. I really got into not just reading it on the superficial level, but reading
for sure
to understand what the word. And then I realized that these are the rules. These are the rules of the universe. This is actually the blueprint for how you should conduct your life. So I'm a man. I'm a Christian. I'm a father. I'm a husband. As you know, I'm a professional. I'm an attorney. But I think more importantly, I'm not afraid to speak the truth, even in uncomfortable situations. And I think that's the best description of who I am at this time, brother. That's about all I can give you. That's it.
No, and that's exactly what we expected. So thank you, man. Thank you for that. Now, if you don't mind, what branch of law do you focus in?
Well, my primary focus is complex civil litigation, and I initially I worked at a personal injury firm in New Orleans. And from there, I was really good at it. But before that, I actually wanted to be an environmental lawyer. I wanted to work for the EPA, DEQ. And I went on to Tulane to get my LLM in environmental law. And I was actually in the environmental law clinic, which was a big deal back in the early 2000s. And so got a perfect score on the bar examination the first time I took it. Practiced law in Louisiana for about 5 years, and Hurricane Katrina sent me here to Texas, and I've been here ever since. But now I'm kind of segueing over into class action cases. But for the most part, I'm just a simple personal injury lawyer. I deal with car
Okay.
accidents, and so that gives me a lot of time and energy to do other things. But more importantly, the thing about personal injury, people think, oh, ambulance chaser. That's great. But in order to be good, you need to understand constitutional law in depth. You need to understand civil procedure, contracts law. You need to understand how to empathize with people, their pain, understanding them, where they're coming from, what bothers them. You hear all the thousands of stories a year about people, and you internalize that. And so you begin to understand people's needs and desires. And because I'm forced to have to deal with other people and empathize with them all the time because they're my clients, it forces me to have to even do it broader. So when I see things happening in the world, when I see events like whether we're talking about Carmelo Anthony's parents, Carmelo Anthony, whether we're talking about Austin Metcalf's father, Austin Metcalf, and I can empathize with all of them because I have practiced putting myself in the position of other people. So it puts me in a place where I truly am forced to understand, and I have to do it not just on a personal level, but as a matter of my business. I'm required in order to be a good
to know more about them.
I practice empathizing with people, and that's why I'm not going to get on the internet and take one side or the other when I know that goes against who I am. It's wrong. And so, I may disagree with people, and I'm very respectful. I'm always very respectful of people, but
I agree.
I crack a few jokes, but I stand firm in the truth because I don't want to hurt anyone who's already hurting, if that makes sense.
No, that makes perfect sense.
Yeah.
And one of the reasons why I even reached out to you is because I heard how you gave a very passionate plea for our community, the highly melanated Black community, to do things and hold one another accountable and to hold one another accountable. And I didn't intentionally say that, oh, well, he's not trying to hurt our feelings, but I can see that, yeah, he was compassionate, he was concerned, he was caring, but he's also like, man, we need to do something about this.
Yeah.
So that's going to lead me into my first question to you, Dennis. What should, in your estimation, the Black community do to have a better 2030? Because we're going to look out into the future. We got 4 years, 2030, than what we're trending toward. Because I hate to say it, I don't want to be the bearer of bad news. We're not moving in a good direction as Black people. What do you think we should do?
You asked this question, but first of all, it's too early for this question. We got to warm up.
Okay. You got to come back, Dennis, after dark. Then you got to come back later on tonight, man.
But man, first of all, it didn't take us 4 years to get here, and it's going to take a lot longer than 4 years to get us out of here.
That.
Okay. And
give me one way to get us.
Well, let's
get the blinker on. Let's get the blinker on at least.
So the process. Let's do process of elimination. It's not money because we have money. Okay. In 1965, about a little over 50% of Black people were living below the poverty line.
Okay.
Now it's about 59% of Black people are upper middle class, or rich. And so, in other words, we have money. So money is not the answer. We have education. Education is not the answer. I mean, we had coming out of slavery, I think we had a 90-something% illiteracy rate.
Facts. Yeah.
Okay. But and we had crime back then, but it wasn't mechanized. So we had degeneracy, but you had a juke joint. It wasn't accepted by the people en masse. You see, what we have now is a situation where degeneracy has become synonymous with Black culture. In other words, when you say Black, you think
ghetto behavior.
Exactly. You see what I'm saying? So, and even the wealthy, upper middle class, successful Black people have allowed that to permeate our value system. So you can't buy your way out of this situation. In other words, you can't move away from the degeneracy. As I told somebody else, you move out there with the white folks to get away from the N-words, and you the one that brought the N-word with you. The N-word is in the mirror.
Right.
And so
the N-word is in you.
Yeah. So what do we do? How do we purge our culture of these degenerate values? Somebody hits you, you hit them back harder. That's not going to produce a productive society. Okay. Or get it how you live. Anything I need to do to get the money, get the bad culture. So that means you're going to prostitute yourself. You're going to commit crimes if things go bad. So we have to. Oh man. Okay. So let me give you a little bit. I know. You like, brother. Just get to the point. Land the plane.
It's all good, brother.
I have a whole slew of degrees in law.
Mhm.
But what people don't know is that at a point between 2010 and 2014, I was working on a PhD in environmental molecular toxicology, a PhD in environmental science, and a PhD in biological sciences. And I got almost ready to, all I had to do was write my thesis and finish a couple of classes in my PhD. And I did all that at the same time. But I say all that to say that I learned something in my studies of environmental toxicology. The only way that you can diffuse a toxin is to introduce other things into it. In other words, you have to dilute the toxin. Right now, Black culture is toxic. And we call the degeneracy toxic. So what has to happen is there has to be an influx of non-toxins to dilute it. I hate to say that, right?
No, that's no, that's good church right there.
Yeah. In other words, if you toxic and your wife is toxic,
hey man,
you're gonna have some. Your children are gonna inherit that toxicity and they're gonna pass it on. So what you have to do is separate yourself from that toxin. Get with somebody who is not toxic, okay, who didn't have a broken home, who doesn't have that value system that says somebody hits you, you hit them back harder. I'm gonna get it how I live. You need to get with somebody who's family oriented, somebody who understands that put God in it. Okay. In other words, we're gonna be led by this moral compass as opposed to what we want to do in this world, which makes us feel good. And so what that means is, unfortunately, brother, we kind of got to separate a little bit. You see, and look, and I know now what is he saying? What I'm saying is you need to get with somebody who is not as toxic as you. You have enough demons, okay? You don't need to get someone with their demons and you bring those demons and all those demons come in. Two unhealed people can't heal each other. And so if you in a situation where, and here's another thing, got me on the soapbox. If you're an unhealed person, you full of demons and hell and all that, and you don't want to change, leave the good people alone. Leave God's people to God's people. If you full of hell and sin, go work on yourself. You see, go first of all, realize that there's a problem within me. All right, so let's start that. Now, as far as the numbers, money's not the issue. We have money. We're the richest group of Africans on the planet. We got 1 in 20, 1 in every 20 Black people in America is a millionaire, every household. So we have money, we have education, we have access to education. The way these people typing on the internet, they can read. We're not illiterate like we were. So it's not money and it's not education, it's something more. And I have a theory as to where it came from, but that takes a long kind of, I talk about how we went from being builders to beggars, but in one of my broadcasts. But the bottom line is, man, it's not a money thing, it's not an education thing, it's a degeneracy thing. It's something we've adopted, and we have to cull ourselves from that. We have to get with people in relationships. We have to separate ourselves. We have to stop some of these things that we do. The unfortunately, some of the things we've adapted, like our rap music that we love, and we probably got to get away from that. I know it feels
ain't no problem to it.
Right?
No problem to it.
I had to train our daughters that that 3 or 4 culture is not the answer. We're gonna have to train our sons that real manhood is not how many people you can beat up, or how many people you can fight, or how many women you can sleep with. That's not real manhood. And so we have to begin to teach our children differently. But we're not going to be able to do it in 4 years, brother. I just wanted to point us.
I just wanted to point us in the right direction. And you're right. I probably should have did maybe like 2050. I got you. Now you said you Baptist though, so you know what? Because of that, I gotta bring something special for you.
Okay.
All right, so we're gonna drop the. He out here bringing. He out here preaching, man. I gotta bring.
Hallelujah.
We gotta bring the ham. We gotta bring the Hammond B3 in for you now. No. So the other day I had a clinician on who was talking about cults and how hard it is to get people to get out of a cult. I mean, you're not going to logically get a person out of a cult. Okay. And she said something I thought was super interesting. You have to replace the story that the cult put into their minds. So let's just say that the cult put a particular idea into your mind and crafted this story. As a matter of fact, here, you know what? Let's talk about the Carmelo Anthony case. So we've seen this in 4K because there's pieces of information that were missing, and people created whole new narratives, from getting jumped to the boys are trying to delete their mom and dad to just fill in the blank. All this stuff. Where did it come from? Because there were gaps in the information, and they filled this in, and now these people are holding on to the story.
Yeah.
It don't matter what you say to them. You can tell them whatever, but the thing is, you have to replace the story with the reality. So to your point that you said about toxicity, let's say that the toxicity is these fabricated fan fiction narratives that have come up around the Carmelo Anthony trial. And those are the false narratives, the toxicity that you were mentioning. We have to replace that or dilute that with truth. And help people see, like, walk them through seeing that this is true, not what you've made up. Because I've heard some people say some stuff. I'm like, where are you getting this from? Like, at least you had it, at least there was somewhere I can say, oh, I see where you got that from. Like, you're making up a whole story. The whole thing about he was getting jumped, he was in a headlock, and he swung the knife up because he was in a headlock. Where did you get that? Nothing told you that. Now, I've said this before. I think the judge probably should have thought a little bit more clearly and had that thing streamed so that it would have done away with a lot of these questions, even if you just let the audio play. I mean, I understand the camera for minors and stuff like that, but maybe you just streamed it and we could hear the audio of it. I think that would have done away with, because now we're just hearing people tell the story because the transcripts are not even available. So it's only helped intensify the toxicity or fan fiction made up narratives. But to your point, we have to come in and have to help them see and give them a replacement story of truth that will do away with and start diluting that toxicity, because otherwise it's just going to sit there and just keep being toxic. But
well, brother, you know, some people, you can tell them for the rest of their life and they'll never believe you. Once people just get dead set on believing what they want to believe, then that's just how they're going to go. And you just got to go on and leave that group of people alone. Some people are just hard-headed and they won't believe anything you say. And all I wanted to do is point out, well, this is what the jury heard. This is why the verdict is valid. So my job was relatively easy, because all I had to say was there were 21 witnesses. They testified. I don't know specifically what they said, but the jury heard them. There was a dead body. There was a knife. There was a confession. There was, you know, a video that they saw, and the jury found him guilty. Like, I don't know anything else that they heard, but I know they heard that. They didn't hear anything about him getting jumped. They didn't hear about a magical knife popping up in the air and popping somebody in the chest. They didn't hear about that. So is the jury valid? Is the jury verdict valid? That's it. That's all I cared about it, because and that made my job easy. So I didn't have to deal with the fantasy of it. But the thing is, man, you have people who believe that you know that we are invaded by Martians and the Earth is flat, and you can tell them all day, well, look out at this. It's not. We actually circled around it. You know, Magellan. Have you heard of Magellan? I mean, like, they don't. It does not matter. And so with those type of people, it's one thing to be ignorant. They don't know. But it's another thing to just be stupid. If you're stupid, that means you confronted with the truth and you still choose to believe, disbelieve the facts and choose what you want. Well, you just go right on ahead. They have a Darwin Award for people like that. And they don't win. You see what I mean? And you can't save them all, brother. You can't save them all. And I'm not going to stress myself out and get one more gray hair on my head trying to change that opinion. You see what I'm saying? So some people got to write off, and I know it's like we Christians, but even in the Bible, you got to write some people off. You see what I'm saying? That's my thoughts on it.
No, I agree with you. You know, I saw a video of your sons, and you were talking about how Black men can't be super emotional. We have to be able to, for lack of a better term, harness our emotional energy. And your boys, what martial art were they learning? I don't want to.
Oh no, fine. Very early on, I realized that. I mean, let's just be honest. We black. Okay, we are black
Yeah.
people, and there are negative stereotypes that go along with being black. Maybe nothing we did, particularly you and I. We family men.
We
We
deserve.
no criminal record. We minding our business. But unfortunately, when the rest of the world sees us, okay, they see a big monster. Okay, and they see it because if you look on the media, it's a lot of big monsters with dreadlocks and long hair and tattoos and Tech Nines running around hurting people. So when they see my 19-year-old, 17-year-old, and 10-year-old son, they see monsters, even though these boys have not done anything to anybody. That is the reality of it. That's the lay of the land. I'm not going to live in a fantasy. I'm not going to sit up here and tell my children or my son, oh, everybody should treat you fair. I'm not going to do that. That would be a lie. And if you set them up like that, you said that setting up to fail. If they were little Asian boys, or little white kids, a little white, I might say if there was a little white girl, I'd say, baby, you can get away with whatever you want to get away with. Whenever you want to, especially if you blonde with blue eyes.
you just do whatever you want.
Just cry in the whole world. But that is not the reality of black boys. And that's unfortunate, but life is not fair. And I'm okay with that, as long as I understand that ahead of time. So what I teach my sons is you have to be polite. You have to be mannerable. And I'm going to say something that's going to make people angry. I'm going to say something. You can't be running around here with all that hair on your head, riding in a Charger, okay, with a wife beat on.
No,
and tattoos
no Hellcats. No Hellcats.
You can't do that. Okay, let me tell you why. Because if you're riding around with a Charger and you got them little twisty braids in your head and a white beat on and a Hellcat, and your lips are black and you got long fingernails, the police are going to pull you over. And more likely than not, they're going to find a reason to give you a ticket. And you say something crazy to them, they're going to say, you look nervous. I'm going to take you out the car. And if you say, what are you arresting me for? They're going to say, stop resisting. And they're going to put an elbow in your back and you're going to be handcuffed on the ground. So if that's the reality that we're dealing with, then perception is the reality. Let's look like we are decent, clean cut young men, speak properly, have your license and your registration available for them. All right. So you can survive the encounter. Now, look, I know, oh, that makes me a coon. He's a coon because he don't want the children fighting the police. And he's boule because he don't want them to elbow chop the cops who pull him over. No, that's not where you fight for your rights. Not on the side of the road on a Friday night. Okay. You deal with that in the courthouse on Monday morning. but the bottom line is the way we reset our boys is, first of all, we start them with understanding the reality of the world we're living in. And then you teach them emotional control. And I'm not saying that black boys are the only group of men who have more. There's plenty of kids, boys all over with them. You see them running around in the grocery store. You see little Tommy running around falling out. And Sarah's like, get up, Tommy, get up, get up. People have different ways of dealing with it. Okay.
For sure.
But as far as little black boys, since they have that monster tag on their tattooed on their shirt everywhere they go, they have to be more mindful of that. So I put my sons in Kung Fu very early on. And Kung Fu Kenpo is American style, but bottom line is it teaches them martial arts. It forces them to have to do boring things for a long time. So that teaches them patience. It forces them to have to suffer in silence and accept the reality. Yeah, I just got kicked in the stomach, but I still have to fight. Okay, because when the world starts kicking them down, you don't want them running to come back to you and sleeping on your couch at 26 years old. So they learn to have to deal with it. So you learn emotional control, you learn discipline, and you get them in it before they realize they have a choice. I used to tell my kids all the time, they don't have rights. You don't have no rights. You have a right to get up, get in that car, and we're going to go over here and I'm going to drop you off in there and you go running around and do what the man says do for a little while. And then from there, we just kind of continued forward with that. So they started off, they have a second degree black belts in Kenpo / Kung Fu karate. And then from there, we started that in 2014. In 2015, I started them with Shotokan, old school brother, Marine Corps, about 70. He's mean as hell. He's their surrogate mean granddad. You know, mean old black man in the community.
We need him. We need more of them.
Yeah, he is their Shotokan, old school brother from Harlem. and moved down here to Texas, and so I just let them yell at him for about 10 years. They scared of him. They don't want to go to him. You going anyway, because the police are gonna yell at you. Okay,
Right.
the teachers are your boss is gonna yell. You gonna lose your mind? Nope. You're gonna do what he says do, and if you don't, it's some punishment. Now I say, look, man, they belong to you for that hour and a half when they're here. And black boys need that. They need to understand some discipline. Your children, and I'm talking to the dads right now. Your children need to fear somebody. Okay, it should be you. They need to fear somebody, and there needs to be some consequences of not following that person's order. You are not doing your children any favor by trying to be their friend. I'm not cool with my sons. We are not friends, because see, if I try to be friends with them when they're children, we won't be equals when they become men. You see? And when I become an older man, I don't want to be surrounded by young men or men who are falling out, crying, life is too hard, because they think everybody is supposed to be nice to them, because they think life is supposed to be fair. So the way you reset young black boys is you don't reset them. You train them up in the way that you want them to be. You whether it's emotional control through martial arts or working. You see what I mean? Because there's a lot of young boys that their daddy is a plumber, and they say, yeah, I know you 6 years old, but go on over and get that lead pipe and bring it over here. You got to sit out there in that hot sun. It's hot. You working like a man. You got to control yourself, because daddy's not going for no parts of your back talk. You here to help load this truck, unload this truck, bring my toolkit. This is what we doing this summer. You see, so there's other ways you can learn that. Being in uncomfortable positions for a long time, being productive. And, but the main thing is, man, I think you have to spend time with your children, because at the time when my boys were young, I didn't have a lot of money. My little boy, my middle son would tell you, yeah, I remember this time. It probably was like 2014. I had a bunch of change. And I had to take it down to the Kroger to put the change in the machine to get like $50 out. And I'm a whole lawyer at the time. I'd been practicing law almost 14 years. You see what I'm saying? But I had 2 kids. I was paying a house note, car note. God has blessed me since that time period. I'm doing much better, doing great. But so it's not the money, it's the time. You need to spend time with your children. Stop sitting around drinking beer on Sunday watching a football game or Saturday or whatever. Figure out how to spend time with your children. And I can ramble on it, because I understand what it's like not to have a father. And I had a father, but he wasn't that type of father. You see what I'm saying? I would find things like, I would get a little $50, $60 bow and arrow. And once they got a little older and more mature, I got them some bow and arrows. We would go up to the park. I get a little target. Sometimes we wouldn't even have a target, and I let them just shoot the bow and arrows. For years, we did that. It taught them concentration, control.
Sure did.
By the time we got to that point, they would already been disciplined. Can't do that with every child. You got to bring them up young. You have to bring them up to that point where you can trust them with a quote unquote deadly weapon, even though it's just like
bow and arrow, right?
Bow and arrow. But I taught them how to throw knives and hatchets. These are 10, 11-year-olds. And we've out here doing this, and they would hit the target from like 10, 20 feet out. But it taught them control, self-control. They do jujitsu also. My oldest son has a purple belt. He's 19, and he's been at it 11 years, but they don't want to give you a black belt as a child, because that puts a target on your back. And so my 15-year-old has a blue belt in jujitsu. And they also have second-degree black belts in Shotokan. So they have studied 3 forms of martial arts. But of course, I've taught them boxing and some other stuff like that. But that's just I know we started this off for discipline, but we're doing this now. And now it's become a family event, because I do jujitsu and I do Kaju Kembo with the same Sifu / sensei. But the main thing is, man, you got to spend time with your children. Don't wait too long. If your 15-year-old son shows up at your door at 15 years old because he's been living with his mama for the past 15 years and she tired of him, it's about over. You really, it's hard to correct, because I mean, at the end of the day, 15 years, Alexander began to conquer the world at 14. So
right.
You can't correct a grown man, a nearly grown man. You got to get him young. Now, if you have a young son who just showed up, and I use this as a worst case scenario, you have a young son who just showed up on your doorstep at 15 years old, You can love them, but unfortunately, the world is going to have to teach him what you didn't. And I hate to say that, all right? But if he's already
It's
messing
true,
around, smoking weed, got tattoos, bad friends, bad habits, maybe there's some remedial stuff you can do, but he's not going to be able. And I'm not saying that you should just write off your son, but what I'm saying is it's better to fight very early on, to spend as much time as you can with your children. I know she's hard to deal with, the fellas. I know. I've been there. I know she's hard to deal with, but get her how you keep her like you got her. You see,
Right.
I want to hear some of my secrets. I wooed. I would have my sons bring their mother flowers for we divorced.
Right.
I'd have them bring her flowers and candy and stuff. Not from me, from her. Nice gifts and stuff like that, because you want, if the law gives this woman power over the children, okay, well then you got to deal with, she the one that got power. Tuck the ego and realize there's an end game, because all you need is about that first 10 years, from about 4 to about 14. Those are your years, and after that they belong to their friends. Before that, they just want to be with their mama largely, and you have some time, but that's your time period. So man, I can go on and on and that, but
no, that was good.
I don't want to, burn my time here. I know it's valuable. Yeah.
No, actually, you kind of, in a roundabout way, you've actually started my next question.
Okay.
Do you agree that Black fathers are vitally important to the health of the U.S.? I believe, Dennis, that what you and myself and other men that are in the home with their children, they are key, especially Black men, are key to the success of other community groups, because as you said before, when they see our children as monsters, when they see our children as 304s, when they see our children as this, that, and the other, all they see them as bonnets, slides, and pajamas. Well, when we unleash them on the world, we're not doing them any favors.
Yeah.
So you in the home, me in the home, and the countless other men that are in the home, I do believe that we are vitally important for all society. we are literally a pillar for every community, but even more, most importantly, our own. You want to amen that, or how do you feel?
I amen that, but I would add some more numbers to that. When you look at the military, we're overrepresented in the military. I believe it's somewhere 13% of the military is Black American, and I'm assuming that's the majority Black American men, and we only 6% of the population. So what does that mean? That means if you don't have Black men raising Black sons, or you don't have Black men at all, then the military loses its edge.
Gotcha. Yeah.
Yeah, and when you start looking at things like the police force, you need Black men in there. You need Black men in the police force, because some of these dudes, you need the brothers to go in there, because some of them might not listen to you if your name is Brad. You understand?
Right.
But if you send a Tyrone up in there, you're like, hold on a minute, brother. Why you doing me like
Tyrone?
that?
Officer Tyrone.
You send Tyrone and Jamal up in there, they gonna regulate the whole thing. And Brad, like, just send Tyrone and Jamal. In other words, it's something we can do better. But again, I think that Black men and Black people in general, but Black men specifically, have always been a part of the American ethos. We were here at the founding of the country, whether we're talking about Lemuel, Brother Lemuel, I think he was a judge. I can go into some details about that, but we've always been here, the good and the bad,
For sure.
I mean, whether we're talking about the 54th in the Civil War, or we're talking about the Buffalo Soldiers. Buffalo Soldiers went in and really regulated those Native Americans and Mexicans and whatnot, but they did the job, and they helped push America into the future. And whether you like America or not, everybody who is an American reaps the benefit of America, whether we're talking about the good and the bad. But any empire, okay, and there's no empire that is morally innocent. All right. So if you have a problem with the United States, you should have a problem with Rome, France, the Byzantine Empire. You should have a problem with Persia. You should have a problem with Great Britain. You should have a problem with China, Russia, Egypt, because none of those great empires are morally innocent. That has nothing to do with America's greatness. America is great. It always has been great, and it will keep being great as long as we as Americans keep pushing it forward. And so, and I'm proud of my country. And we just ran up on 250 years, but Black men have always been part of this country. It was the Black men in the military who forced the integration. It was Black men, because it's like, how can we have these men who are fighting valiantly for the United States of America and our liberties. We have to give them freedom, and we have to give them equal rights. It was the executive order that integrated the military that started the whole civil rights process. We can't keep denying these people their rights as citizens, okay? Because we were Americans even when we were enslaved, and not all Black people were enslaved, but we were Americans before that. But our citizenship is what we had to literally earn. So yeah, there's definitely fathers in there, because fathers raise sons and fathers raise daughters. If you got a good daddy, he ain't gonna go like where you going dressed like that? We can cut down on the thought and the 304, and if you have some decent daddies in the household saying calm down. And I know the ladies don't want to hear what I'm saying. I know you don't want to hear what I'm saying.
They don't want to hear. My two are in the kitchen right now.
You know how we can stop having unwanted babies, ladies? If you stop having unwanted babies, there's a thought. If you just say no to Larry and them, okay, when they coming through, you stop.
Right.
But I don't want to get in that, because I don't want you to get demonetized and struck.
I'm gonna test the waters. I'm gonna go ahead and say it. So I have a theory that if we encouraged, well, first of all, dads play a vital role in the household, bar none. You're not gonna fix those charges, whether it be for dads and their sons, dads and their daughters, dads and their wives. We play a huge role that you cannot theorize away. You can't just change names and definitions away. We play a big role. Like I'm joking about it, but my two, I hear them in the kitchen making breakfast. I hear my two girls right now. And the role that I play in their lives is night and day different than what my wife does. But I can't now let me say this also. There's many a day. go tell your mama that. Go tell your mama that. Go on in there, go on in there with your mama with that. I ain't got no time for that. And so I thank God for my wife. So, but on the same note, there's many a day. Go talk to your dad about that. Go talk to your dad about that.
Yeah.
So we balance each other out. My thought process is, if we just did away with baby mama culture, if we encouraged our young men, you got one baby mama, bruh, it's rough. It's going to be tough. It's not about you. And you said it earlier. It's not about what you can extract from the community, but it's really the value that you can add. Yeah. I'm like so you know what, Tyrone, why don't you and that young girl get together and y'all make it work? And we'll walk alongside you. You can come over here every Friday night. We'll sit around here and we'll fuss and cuss and be mad, throw something on the grill. But you know where you're going to go? You're going to go back to that girl and y'all going to figure it out. If we just did away with that alone, in my opinion, that would fix a lot of problems. One, we'd have kids that had the dad in the house. But you know what it also would do? It also do away with the baby deletion that we have. We have oh, shoot, that was inappropriate. The baby deletion problem that we have in our community, because you know who's deleting babies, you know who's doing away with babies, is single people. Right. Married folk aren't doing that. It's single people. So we encourage single people to get married. We would have less unwanted pregnancies that need to get deleted in the first place. Yeah. We would have. So those are just my thoughts. If we can just encourage people to get married, make marriages great again.
Well, let me push back a little bit and throw some numbers at you. So
let's go.
When I began to examine the single mother problem, okay, I'm gonna go back to, it's not the single mothers, it's the culture. Because when I look at the culture of Japan, they have a single mother problem. They have a horrible single mother problem, and that's a first world country. They have an even worse single mother problem in Brazil than they have here. And it's even worse in Colombia. And even if you go to places like Puerto Rico, it's horrible. But you don't see their kids out there shooting each other up in the street, and you don't see the degeneracy that's going on here in the United States. It is what the culture allows. See, there was a time, and here's another thing. In 1880, marriage was about what it is right now. It wasn't until after the 1950s when you had that, what they call it, the baby boom, right? And people got married, but see, America was the land of the plenty. And the reason it was the land of the plenty, because China was flattened, Europe was flattened, Japan was flattened, India was non-existent. So America was the only place where we could produce America was the only major industrial power. So if you needed something, it had to be American made. So there was plenty of money. There was plenty of lifestyle. The houses were cheap. And if you had a car from the 1950s, you boy, they call them shade tree mechanics because they needed fixing so much. People had to learn from themselves. But the bottom line is marriage, the marriage rate increased tremendously because there was money and there was resources. But before that, marriage was was about where it is right now. Okay. And so what we see happening is it went up and now it's kind of returning to a normalcy. So children were still being born. The question is not necessarily because the question is not necessarily the single mothers, even though that's a problem because it creates a deficit on income. It's not money that's our problem, because my grandmother was a poor Black woman from Mississippi, and she didn't go past the 8th grade. She didn't have education, she didn't have money, but she didn't raise a bunch of degenerates either. You see what I'm saying? You got school teachers pee-popping at the brunch in front of the kids. You see what I'm saying? You got doctors and lawyers running around here with saggy pants, listening to gangster rap, acting like they tough, and you don't know who's the gangster and sometimes the criminal is more well-behaved than the educated person. So it's a degenerate culture in these children, whether they come from a single mom or a dad, because there's some degenerate dads too. Let me tell you.
No question.
Let me tell you, I have been taking my son to football practice over the past couple years. And he started when he was 8, now he's 10. And I see some of the most horrible things come out of some of these fathers' face. They call their sons the B word. I'm like, I would never do that. I would never denigrate my son and say those things to my son. And that lets me know what's going on in that house. So even though you have a father, if you're degenerate, that degeneracy is going to spread and touch upon you. He's going to treat his children like that. So it's not just, we can't just say single mothers, because if they're not doing drive-by shootings and having YNs in Japan, where the single mother issue is as bad, if not worse, as here, it's not a first world issue. It's not a single mother issue. It's a degenerate culture issue. And when we can get rid of the degenerate culture, if we can begin to weed that out, that will help tremendously, because that is the source of everything. You see what I'm saying? I can dig it. Think about it. If we can get rid of the degenerate culture, the single motherhood stuff will stop. You see, if you have everybody married, but everybody's still degenerate, guess what? You're still gonna have problems. You're gonna have cheating, babies out of wedlock, STD, etc. It's the degeneracy. And it all goes back to getting back to that moral compass. As I said earlier, I'm a Southern Baptist. Okay. I thank God for my religion. I know religion has been under attack, and people say, oh no, Orthodox. It keeps people from doing bad things to other people. People need religion. We need to know that this is the moral direction that we need to head. And I don't care what anybody says. To me, my religion, the religion of that carpenter, you see, who died on that cross, that's the best religion to me. Okay. Now I don't want to.
You're right. You're right.
Yeah, I like that religion. He wasn't a warlord. He didn't have a bunch of hands. Okay, he wasn't right. You know, I like the carpenter. The carpenter is I like what he was doing, and so that's what. But go ahead, brother. I'm sorry.
No, I was gonna say. So I've mentioned this on my channel before. I said all these different things that we're talking about, culture and politics and family structure, all that kind of stuff, are all downstream from one particular question, and that one question is, who is God? By you answering that question, who is God? All the other things have a north. All the other things have they have a compass now, and they can start lining back up, because as you just mentioned here, by you recognizing who God is, it now deals with, you can look at the culture, and you know what a degenerate culture is because you know who God is. You know what a proper family structure is because you know who God is. And all of that stuff can line up. And once you answer that question, your politics and everything else can at least have a bearing, at least have a true north that they can point to. Now, that doesn't mean that everybody's going to agree about politics. I don't mean everybody's going to agree about, quote unquote, the culture. And we can have a discussion about that. But some of the things that we're talking about are so outside of the bounds of even a semblance of decent discussion. We're not talking about whether or not you like this type of music or over this type of music. skinny Luther versus fat Luther. We're not talking about that. We're talking about whether or not we should sing an anthem about robbing and stealing. Like, how are we having an honest discussion about whether or not it's okay to promote a song about stealing and robbing on the heels of that young boy getting shot in South Carolina because they thought he was stealing? Like, how do we square that peg? How do you do that? So,
brother.
I didn't mean to talk about it, but we might have to talk about that song too. Go ahead.
Yeah. Well, my skin, man, you gonna get arrested. There's cops all around the world doing TikTok videos. America doing TikTok. They can't wait to put you keeping them in business. See, here's the other thing, man. Here, let me say this. You done got my blood pressure up. Look, man, that is.
I'm sorry, man.
That is the stupidest thing that I've ever heard. Why would you make a song about create an anthem about stealing and robbing? I mean, who do you work for the CIA? Do you work for the FBI? Because clearly she's the in crowd, right? But us, we schools and boule, and because we trying to keep you out of prison. So us telling you that's wrong is holding you back from your freedoms, I guess. But here's what happens. Let me tell you something. There's something called what is Geo Civic? Is that what you ever heard of Geo? There's prison stock. The prison stock. Go ahead and invest in it, because that song right there is going to help you become a lot richer. Okay, because we're going to put anybody who gets boosted scammer, we're going to put them in jail, and we're going to put the boosted scammers in jail. See, remember I said we got to dilute the toxicity? Well, some of those people are going to have to go to prison, because we don't want you around here robbing us, because you start robbing grocery stores. Next thing you know, you robbing us and carjacking, and now you can't get a job, and now you want to run in our house and all these other things. See, it leads to something. You enter into that criminal world, it's hard to get out. There's a lot of dudes in prison right now for something stupid. They did 35 years for something stupid, 50 years. There's some dudes in there, they got 250. That means they're going to die, get buried, dug up, brought back to life, put back in prison. You keep listening to these people if you want to. You keep on listening to these fashionable songs and if you want to, and you are going to end up dead or in prison. Okay, and that's it. So, and you can't help some of them, brother. You can't. You cannot. And I hate to be a nihilist like this, but the reality is, I've realized that you can't help everybody, and whether their skin is your skin color or whatever. And it's sad to see it, but some people hard-headed. They don't believe fat meat is greasy, and you cannot help them. Okay, what you have to do right there. What you have to do as a parent, when you hear that dumb song on the radio, you say, "Look, you hear that dummy right there? That's the dummy that you don't listen to." You can bop your head to it all you want, but that's the type of degenerate culture, and you make an example out of that stupidity. And then what'll happen is your children will grow up and they'll be able to recognize stupidity on their own, and they'll say, "Nah, that's stupid. I'm not. Why would I be in here?
Why would I do that?
Yeah, that's crazy. You're going to lose your life. You're going to be in there with them thugs and criminals. They're going to have you braiding hair and washing underwear, sir. Lady, you're going to be in there with them. Lady, you want to be a booster and a scammer, you're going to be in there with them strong women. Oh, you're going to be them strong.
Dennis is wild. Dennis is wild. No, I'm right there with you.
I shouldn't say that, man. But yeah, it's why would you do that? Why would you can make more money on the internet. You can make more, you can literally sell cupcake recipes on the internet and make $5 a pop. You see what I'm saying? Like, people, you have access to everything in the world. You can what does it call it? You can drop sell things.
Drop ship. Yeah, man, you can sit here and talk. You can talk loud in your studio outside your kitchen and make a pretty nice living, bruh. Like, the opportunities, and matter of fact, this is my little soapbox. The opportunities available to us would blow our grandparents' literal minds.
Yes.
Wait, what do you mean? What you mean? JJ sits in his house and he talks loud and he looks at a camera and he takes care of his family with that? What you talking about, baby? Mama, this is what I do. Hey, Daddy Jewel, this is what I do. I retire from teaching and I sit in my office outside of my kitchen. I talk loud and I take care of my family. Daddy Jewel will be like, what are you talking about, boy?
And see, here's the thing, man. The problem is we gotta, and I don't even want to open this door up, but I'm gonna go ahead and do it. Okay.
Do it. Kick it open.
So we were the hardest working people coming out of slavery. And I know we don't want to talk about slavery. I get it. It's a long time ago. But in 1864, 1865, we built churches, we built schools, we educated our children. We thrived to learn. You had old people trying to learn just so they could read the Bible. And so we built and we built and we built and we built, and we got so good at it. We had congressmen, and down in Washington, D.C., you had dozens of black congressmen. You had PBS Pinchback. He was a governor of Louisiana, black man. Okay, a lot of these men were former slaves, but they educated themselves. I often talk about my great-great-grandfather, George Washington Jones, Sr. He went to Russ College in Mississippi, born on a plantation, became a lawyer. He represented white.
Nice.
And black. We talk about 18.
Wow. I don't know, something happened with it. Got a little bit of delay. Dennis was cooking. What happened to Dennis? Uh-oh. Here, let me drop him out real quick. Bring him back up in. Hold on 1 second. All right, so Dennis looks like he might have run into a little technical difficulty. Let's see what happens. He was cooking too. Okay. Uh-oh. I hope I didn't lose him. Okay. Well, Dennis is cooking, so we're gonna let him come back in here. Let me see if this is back. He is not back. Darn it. He was cooking too, man.
Up to Nicodemus, Kansas.
I don't know what happened, man. Hey, Dennis, some reason or other you are freezing up. I don't know. What is he? I don't know what happened. Okay, he's back in. Okay, let's try now. All right, how are you doing, brother?
I'm good. So I'm gonna pick right back up where I left off, so you can cut it if you need to.
For sure.
So my great grandfather, who was a lawyer. Bottom line is, we were the hardest working people in America. Okay.
Yeah,
so
absolutely.
1865 happened. So we have congressmen, 1865 to 1900, or 11 years later, Reconstruction ends. Okay, so the northern troops move out of the South. We're dealing with the racial terror. It's bad, but we're still building, we're still owning, we're still farming. We're still hardworking people, hardest working. Because remember, before slavery, white folks, there's a great man I just been introduced to about 4 years ago named Thomas Sowell. And he said something to the effect that white men wouldn't do work. It was a black man's job to do work. That's not something white men would do. So guess who would do it? The builders were now free, and the builders were building for themselves. That's how we built thousands of schools, thousands of churches, thousands of neighborhoods, thousands of HBCUs. We were entrepreneurs. We were capitalists. We were the epitome of capitalists. Okay,
no argument for me.
Working to make other capitalists rich. Now here comes 1919. You got a lot of poor white people who just moved to the community. They just moved to America. They came in. They jealous. And so they see the success of black people, and unfortunate, the scourge of prejudice and racism, which was rampant at that time. I'm not talking about, oh, somebody looked at me wrong. I'm talking about they had signs up. I don't know if you know. I know you're in Georgia, but they had signs up that said, you don't belong here. Okay, so it was racism in your face. You couldn't live where you want. You couldn't get educated. So we had to build. But the bottom line is, we still were extremely successful people. People got angry. They began to do things. They tore things down. They burned. We always hear about Tulsa, Oklahoma. We hear about Rosewood. We hear about the atrocities. And what that did was, it made black people, not all, because see, Tulsa was rebuilt in less than 20 years. They never tell you.
People don't realize that. Yeah,
it was rebuilt. So we built again. But the bottom line, it gave enough ammo to people in New York City. It gave enough ammo to people, a lot of intellectuals. There's a book called by Carter G. Woodson called The Miseducation of the Negro. He was talking about the educated elite who said, oh, well, see, capitalism didn't work because, see, they just burnt all your stuff down. And meanwhile, you got the black man selling fruit on the stand, doing carpenter work, making money, and you got the rich elite saying, oh no, that capitalism is going to fail. But bottom line is, it gave enough ammunition to people around the 1920s that they began to sell this idea that the answer to Black America's problem is socialism and communism and Marxism, and to be anti-capitalist and, generally speaking, anti-American. And so from about the 1920s to the 1970s, we were sold on the idea that we need to take from the rich and give to the poor. The rich being the white people and the poor being the Black people. Even though we had entrepreneurs and we were doing well for ourselves, you couldn't tell them that. And so now you got a strong contingent of Black people who have occupied academia who said, yeah, let's just follow that philosophy. So that went on. And then in the 1970s, or 60s, it came out, you had the so-called Black Power movement. Now, I don't think it was Black empowerment. I think it was Black victimhood. Okay, I know this is controversial to say, but you had a lot of people who bit into that. Whether we're talking about Paul Robeson, W.B. Du Bois, the Black Panther Party. Basically, they were indoctrinating the children into this. The government owes you something, and so now in walks the Democrat Party. Okay, and look, I've been a Democrat my whole life, but they figured if we sell this strong contingent of Black people, there's not all Black people, but we tell them we'll give them something in the form of welfare, Section 8, WIC, TANF, whatever, then that'll be justice to them. That's the justice that they feel they're owed to. That's us taking from the rich and giving to the poor, because the intellectuals had already sown the seeds that they are entitled to something. So that's where that entitlement mentality came from. So we went from builders to people who were distraught looking for answers to entitlement. And then the Democrat Party walks in and says, hey, we'll give you that. All you got to do is vote for us. And then what happens in Clinton came in office in 1992. They start bringing back the welfare. And they said, oh, you're taking something from us. So now we're victims because you took something that was justice to us that we were entitled to. And since that time period, now we have a bunch of people who feel entitled. Now, what happens when you take something from somebody that they feel they're entitled to? Now they're angry. They have to go take it into their hands, and they want to get this vigilante justice. Society doesn't work for me. It's all bad. I don't have to pay the law. And then you get a bunch of degenerate culture saying, I can do whatever I want to do because society owes me something that is not given to me. And just like that. But see, you can't tell academics that because they paid for those PhDs. They still making money on selling books. They're still making money on appearing on these podcasts and these different shows and selling the same story that capitalism doesn't work, even though we are the richest group of people of African descent on the planet. Capitalism clearly works for Black Americans. It clearly
works.
But you can't tell them that, despite the fact that they're riding around in their German car with their $2,000 cell phone and they fat bodies, okay, and they bad kids who are spoiled to death, okay, who sleep all day, and so that's what we're dealing with. And it's not every Black. And when you try to tell them otherwise, they call you boule. Oh, you just like that because you're a member of Alpha Phi Alpha. You a sellout. You like that because you rich now. You too rich and removed. No, I'm like that because that's the reality that we live in. And unfortunately, brother, and I'm gonna say it like this, and I'm not gonna hold you up all day. Some people just gonna need a kick in the back. Some people just need that hard reality. You're gonna do it because you have to do it. So
you got to do it. Right.
When welfare ends, that'll help end the degenerate customer because either you're gonna work or starve. And I hate to be like that, right? When people start saying, no, we're not. No, you can't use Section 8 anymore. No, there's no, and I hate to say this, it's so sad. It's so sad to say this. But nah, unless you have good enough grades, you're not gonna get in this school. Maybe you should go to the junior college.
I've been saying that.
I'm just saying, if you want to end the dependency and you want to wake people up, you're gonna have to cut down on this entitlement. But see, as long as you have a Democrat Party who's willing to pay folk for to continue with that sort of entitled mindset, that's where they're gonna go. Now, here's the crazy thing. I'm gonna tell you something, and I know you have stuff to do because I know you're a busy man. But they tried that with the Latinos. It didn't work because Latinos recognize socialism. They recognize it in Venezuela. They recognize it in Cuba. You see what I'm saying? And so
Thanks.
the Democrats are, well, we'll just give them money too. And they're not like, nah, we're not going to vote. We still not going to vote for you. That's why you have the majority of Hispanic men voting
Right.
for Donald Trump. You see what I mean? It's all playing out, man. It's all playing out. And I thank God that I could really sit back and see it. And, you know, man, it's just what I see, you know, and you can be mad, not you, but people could be mad at me for pointing it out. But I think as other people see it, they may have just not formulated the thought. But this entitlement attitude, this degenerate culture came from somewhere, because this was not us in the 1950s. This is not what we were doing. A woman got pregnant, they sent her down south, had that baby. That baby belonged to the auntie that didn't have any kids. That auntie raised that child as her own child. We had shame in the community. We look how we dress. Our kids used to wear. We would be in our Sunday best. And brother, like, the only reason the civil rights movement was able to move forward is because they specifically planned to have Black people dressed in their Sunday best, showcasing themselves in their best, putting their best foot forward. And then those people like in Alabama and Selma, they put water hoses and dogs on it. It was filmed, broadcast across the world, and people said, shame on you for what you're doing to these good people. If you march a bunch of these YNs down the middle of Selma, you hear me? They be like, good, get them, put the dogs on. You
put the dogs on them.
Because they like the image is everything. You look how you dress. You looking like a degenerate. You talking like a degenerate. You act like a degenerate. We understand why they don't want you walking down their street, as opposed to good, hardworking church going folk who are just looking for the basic rights that they've earned. You see what I'm saying, brother? So you know, man, it's a lot I can say, but you know, we are not going to be able to change other people. We have to change. You know, I say this and people don't like it. I've come to the conclusion that there's just, you know, like racism. It's like the weather. You got to deal with it. I don't care if somebody doesn't like me. Our ancestors always understood that. They don't care if you didn't like me. Just let me go to the school that I need to go to. If not, give me my own. I'm going to have my own neighborhood. Just make sure my roads are fixed. And see, that's the reality. We're going to deal with it as grown-ups. We're not going to try to change people that don't like us. God bless them. We wish them well. I'm going to leave them alone. They're going to leave me alone. And we're going to go about our business and we're going to live our life. You don't have to be liked. You're not entitled to being liked. And the reason I like the law is you can come in there. You can be a stone cold redneck. I tell people all the time, I got some white friends. Most of them are half redneck and half hillbilly. You see what I'm saying?
Right.
We get along fine, especially doing jujitsu, because I'm not trying to date their daughter. I ain't trying to hang out, but we respect each other as men and we respect each other's boundaries. And that is America. You're entitled to feel how you want. Don't impose your beliefs on me. I won't impose my beliefs on you. If you don't like me, fine. We're going to do this job. We're going to play this football game and we're going to go home. Well, we're going to go exercise this mission on the military base or on the war front, and we're going to go home. And you know what? We may find some common ground. You can hold your stereotypes and I can hold mine. But the thing is, the magic, and I'm going to say that word, now probably it's not in the Bible, but the magic of Black American is we have successfully changed the perception of those stereotypes, not by running away from them, but showing them, look at our scientists, look at our orators, look at our doctors, look at our, they used to say Black people couldn't play basketball. They say, oh, but look at that now. You see what I'm saying? We don't run from it, we run to it. You see what I'm saying? So I think there has to be a reinvigoration of Black America. We need to regain ourselves. We need to get in touch with our morality. You know, I'm a Christian. I'm a Southern Baptist specifically. And I think if we start there, that's a good start, in my opinion. You done got me all off my wheel well, man. I'm supposed to be talking about
this is great, man. Let me just ask the last question. Do you think it's bad or wrong to focus on the issues within the Black community that we can fix over external issues? And you kind of talked about this. So external would be racism or some kind of partiality out there. But within our own group, we got degeneracy running amok.
Yeah, we need to talk about Black on Black crime before we talk about white folk hitting you upside the head with a billy club after a traffic stop. Because look, if you can stop the Black on Black killing, and it's not just the unaliveness, it's the other stuff. It's the carjacking, it's the robberies, it's the just menacing the neighborhood. No, we need to fix our own issues. If we dealt with our own internal issues and we hollered and screamed about, how many kids at Juneteenth? Was it 30 black people in
38
Chicago?
people were shot in Chicago. 7 or 8 were killed. But 38 is crazy.
38 people. And and we're not talking about that. We talk about a videotape of Carmelo Anthony and Austin Metcalf. I mean, I'm just saying.
No, you're right.
Really care about? Are they here for the sensationalism? Are they here for the I'm a victim again? That allows me to do things that I want to do because you all are victimizing. Let's talk about the 38 people who got shot and killed in Chicago. How about where's their GoFundMe? Where is that at? Where are the prayers out for their family? Where is that? Where is that? We want to avoid. It's just like most people. They want to avoid the hard problem. They want to focus on the easy stuff because the hard stuff forces them have to look within themselves. But no, we definitely need to focus on our internal issues before we focus on everything else. Yes, sir. I agree with that.
Let me add this little piece to it. You know who materialized? I know you heard about that. The little boy, the 1-year-old boy that was shot outside of the Walmart. They thought the mom was shoplifting. I don't know about what happened, but the little boy was shot. You know who popped up and showed up, but he did not pop up and show up during the Carmelo Anthony trial. You know who it was?
No, I don't. Not
Ben Crump.
Oh,
Ben Crump showed up. I'm like, you'll show up here, and we've been talking about it. Like there was no money to be made in the Carmelo Anthony trial,
right?
Because there were no cops involved. There were no white people involved. But once the cops were involved, Ben Crump materialized. I said, that's nasty work.
It's more than just the cops. So how that worked, and if you don't mind, I can go back to my wheelhouse and tell you. So
get up in there.
And I'm what property was he shot on?
Walmart.
Okay, so Walmart is worth billions of dollars. And the incident happened on Walmart's property. I'm assuming the police officer either was a direct employee or a contracted employee of Walmart at the time. And therefore, you can draw a nexus between negligent training, negligent, hiring practices.
Yeah.
So now you have an angle to sue Walmart for what is probably a hefty settlement. So again, I'm not knocking. I understand. I know what Brother Ben is doing. I've never met Ben Crump, but as a personal injury lawyer, I get why he would,
right.
You see what I mean? It's something, and you wish him well. Surely there needs to be some justice. However, that's pretty transparent in my humble opinion.
And I tell people this all the time. I don't mention it a lot, but I'm originally from Chicago. I can tell you every 3-day weekend.
Wow.
This happens during the summer. This has been going on since I was a kid. So this is not uncommon.
Yeah.
I mean, we knew about this. God have mercy on you if there was a 4-day weekend, bruh. They're gonna be lining them up down the street.
Oh man.
So, and the fact that this is still going on. I'm 52 years old. I remember being 7 hearing about this. And this is still going on in Chicago. And not one thing has changed. But you want me to lose my crash out over what's his name? Rick Cho, and whether or not Asian people really support black folk. Yeah. Or you want me to crash out about Carmelo Anthony not supposed to have a knife on the doggone school grounds. You want me to crash out about that, but y'all will not say a word about and it's usually, hate to say it, it's usually blacks. It's usually blacks that suffer in Chicago.
Yeah.
Now, of course, there are other people groups that get shot and get caught up but most of the time they're talking about black folk in Chicago. And that's such a sad state of affairs.
Yeah, and I get where black people are coming from because, here's the thing. Was 2 arguments. I understand it, but then you have to kind of put it in perspective. A lot of black people take umbrage to police violence because that's not something you can escape by moving out the ghetto. Okay. In other words, you could be a black man with a suit on and riding in a nice car and have a great job and still be pulled over by the police, and the cop may have some racial animus for whatever reason or may think you're a suspect. I get that. Okay.
I'm gonna push back.
But
I got pushed back.
Still the bigger go ahead. I was gonna say the bigger problem by the numbers is us killing us over trivial things. So when even if that has a valid point, great. That's a valid point. That's about 1,000 people a year. But now you got to talk about the 5,000, 6,000, sometimes how many 30,000 people of black
Easily.
people. That's who we need to deal with. Okay, because
Right.
that is the bigger problem. Like it's like being angry about it's like, and I don't want to mess up the thing. You angry about something trivial, happened to black. But what about the baby deletion rate? You see what I'm saying? Like, which is the bigger problem? It's like if I have a tiger in my house, is the bigger problem a mosquito or that tiger? That's the question you need to ask yourself.
No, that is a great analogy.
Yeah.
And the fact that we are past the rate of replacement in many big cities because of baby deletion. So even if we stopped deleting ourselves and our young men stopped killing and such like that, and everybody just died of natural causes, there wouldn't be enough babies born to replace the black folk that are living right now.
Oh, bro.
But I live here. I live north of Atlanta. I live in what's called Cobb County. Mm-hmm. Now here, I went to Morehouse down in the city, and lots of people. The house. So, wait, you not house, are you?
No, I'm a
okay. I'm about to say
university graduate, but I much respect for Morehouse, man.
Oh yeah,
great and historic. I went to Grambling for my undergrad, Southern to get my first law degree, and Tulane to get my second law degree.
There we go. Shout out.
Go ahead. I didn't mean to cut you off.
So no. So people always talk about Cobb County. Was it they had some kind of acronym for Cobb, and I said I've lived here for 20 plus years. Mm-hmm. I've probably been pulled over 3 times. Mm-hmm. How many times do you think I've gone to jail? How many times do you think my car has gone to car jail? How many times do you think my windows got busted out? I had to call my wife from 1-800 come get me. How many times do you think I know where the bail bondsman is? None, because I don't behave like that. I mean, I don't behave in that manner. I look, license, registration, insurance. Here you go, officer. Thank you, sir. Have a great day. I'm gonna take and I can be mad as fire. I remember one time I was speeding to get my daughter to school. Mm-hmm. And they caught me. I was speeding past the school zone. He got me. I was not happy. Because but you know what? My daughter didn't hear me acting a fool on the way to school. And I paid that ticket. And I said, I got to make sure every time I drive by that school now, I remember that ticket. And that's it. And I live somewhere that people and Atlanteans will AT aliens will tell you in a hot minute that Cobb County is, Cobb County, mm-hmm. Cobb County. I've lived here for 20 plus years. Mm-hmm. Ain't never had a problem like y'all talk about. What are you talking about? The reason y'all got problems because y'all come up here acting crazy and they don't put up with that stuff. Keep your Hellcat south of 20.
And my experience is I've never had any issues with any cop. Even when I was dead wrong, I still, I haven't. Man, let me tell you, there was a situation in 2014 and was on the news here. I was coming out of my law office at the ATM machine. I was getting some money out, and somebody said, "Put your hands up." I'm like, "What the hell's going on?" I put my hands up, and I said, "Oh, it's the cops, HPD, no siren. They were an all black task force, and I put my hands up. I turned around, and I was armed at the time. I had my pistol with me because I have a concealed carry license. And first thing I said, "Oh, okay, there's cops." Well, I have my gun is in my waistband. They took the gun, they put me in handcuffs, they sat me down on the steps in front of my law. I could literally see my name. Okay, but I didn't say anything. I didn't even tell them I was a lawyer at the time. I just said, "Okay, officer, sure." They let me know that they had gotten an alarm that somebody was robbing the bank inside, or the alarm went off. And so they came out to investigate because security told them. I didn't get out of line, didn't say anything crazy. They took my firearm. Eventually they figured out, he didn't do anything. It was a false alarm. It was the maid or the cleaning lady. They gave my gun back. They apologized. They gave the black man the gun back. It was nighttime. Did I tell you that? They gave my
in the nighttime.
They sent me on my way, and I'm like, "Thank you, officer." Now I sued them the following Monday because they detained me, and I just thought it was annoying. You know what I'm saying?
Right, for sure.
But the bottom line is we resolved it out of court, and and it went away. But I survived the encounter. You see what I'm saying? Right. And so, and here's the thing: you're a law-abiding citizen. You have no reason to be afraid of the cops. You see what I'm saying? They
Facts.
already know pretty much everything there is to know about you once they run the license plate. I told you, if you in the Hellcat, you got tattoos and braids, you probably gonna go to jail. If you got a white beater on and you going to jail. Okay,
Come on, you got to add the wacky tobacco too, though. You got to add the little the aroma. You got to add the aroma in the car.
You smell like that strange or that strong. You gonna go to jail. Loud. You gonna go to jail. If you're doing crime, more likely than not, you're gonna go to jail. Let me tell you a secret. Let me tell you a big secret, and I know your audience may not know this. A lot of black people are happy that some of these YNs are getting hemmed up and going to jail. You have daughters, you have daughters, and I have sons. And the less of these people, because see, the less of these folk that are out there taking other black people's lives, the more safe, the safer it is for us. And I know that goes against the, our black unity code. I know that. But the bottom line is, I want to live in a safe society, and the most dangerous person for a black man is not the police; it's another black man. And I hate to say that, but that's the truth. And so, if it wasn't Anthony Metcalf, it would have been another black boy. You understand what I'm saying?
Yeah.
That's the problem, because crime is proximate. More likely than not, that little young man who's in jail right now for 35 years would have ended up around other black people, and he would have still had that emotional issue. And that emotional issue would have caused for him to do something harmful to either a black woman, a black girl, a black boy, or a black man. You see what I'm saying? So
that's a good point.
Yeah. So I don't, again, man, I just speak the truth. People can say what they want to say, but I don't care, because at this point in my age, it's more important for me to focus on my legacy and what I left behind. He spoke the truth. And I'm telling you something else, and I don't want to be, I got to, I don't want to hold you up. But I done got carried away with this conversation. You got me in here.
I done got you in talking loud.
You in here talking loud. You got me ran my blood pressure up. All these tough questions early in the morning. But man, you mentioned something earlier. The replacement level for Black Americans is 1.3. You need at least 2.1 to replace yourself. And embedded in that is about 25% of people who come from other countries, whether we're talking about Caribbean, African, whatever. So when you really start looking at it, that culture that came out of slavery, those hardworking people that I mentioned, have only about a 0.9% replacement level. So we're a dying race of people. We're a dying culture. And that dilution that I was telling you about is amplified by the fact that you have people who are marrying out, people who are not getting married, people who are moving overseas. Brothers, I know many brothers, I don't want to deal with it. I do not want to deal with anything you had to deal with your kids. Great for you, but they don't want to deal with it. And I understand that. And this is the dilution. And when a culture begins to fail because of degeneracy and nobody's buying into it, this is what you have. And so when you said something earlier, you said, where we going to be in 2030? Well, where we're going to be in 2050 is going to be a lot of missing Black children, because they were never born. Either they were baby deleted or people didn't get together and have them. There's going to be a lot of little mixed children around here look like Steph Curry and Drake. You see what I'm saying? There's going to be a lot of that going on. A lot of little kids birthed all around the world. They're going to be in Thailand, Dominican Republic. They're going to be everywhere. But as far as them little Black kids that you and I grew up with in the 70s, riding our dirt bikes, riding our big wheels, and
come on, man,
with the beer and in the Cadillac, I don't think that culture is ever going to come back, brother. I really, that's fair. That's what I think. I think the culture is diluted, and when you start talking about Black men and Black women, and I don't want to get in that because I don't want to get you demonetized. I don't want to do that, and I don't want you to get a bunch of hate.
I do appreciate that.
But my understanding and what I see is that, they ain't really getting along very well. Okay?
Right. No, you're right.
Because they're not really getting along. They're not really getting married like we would like them to. Okay. And not like they were in the 1940s and 50s. We were forced to be together back then. We had to deal with each other. But see, as soon as we got that real freedom, and we got a chance to move in other neighborhoods, and moving and be around other people, went to college with other people, we start saying, well, you know what? I think I like this option a little better. Okay. And so, as my good friend Kevin Samuels used to say, rest his soul, he said, you worry about that. Why you worry about Becky? Okay.
Right.
Maria is your biggest competition. You see what I'm saying? And so
I'm right there with you.
Yeah, I know, man. So I don't know where we're gonna be. I don't know, brother. Praise God.
Well, this is what we're gonna be. Dennis, I'm gonna let you get out of here because I know you gotta work, but I need you to raise your right hand and promise that you will come back. You gotta come back, man, because we gotta talk about you got boys, I got girls, so you are probably looking at the same thing I'm looking at as well. What are my options for my children? What are the options for your boy? So raise your right hand and say, I will come back. Come on, Ray, come on, man. I will come back over here.
Too much pressure, man. Too much pressure. Go ahead. Do what you're doing. Go ahead. Hurry up.
I will come back and we're gonna talk about this.
I'll come back and we'll talk about the kids, man. We'll talk about the kids.
Yeah.
I would not want to be a girl dad. I'm
sorry. Bruh, it's rough. It's hard out here.
Yeah, I would not. I got all boys. I would not want to be in your situation. I would not know what I would want to do. What are you gonna do when your girl, some little knothead fool, is harassing your daughter, thinking that she is his property? How are you gonna keep yourself out of jail? That's what I want. How are you gonna do it? I don't know.
So from the word go, I've always told them what I'm looking for. I said I need to approve of him. So they've always known, like, whoever this little boy, they like little boys and stuff like that. And I got one in college. So, she doing stuff at college. I'm like, but she knows, like, okay, whoever it is, dad is going to have to be okay with him. And she's introduced me to some of her little friends at school. And because I go up there probably once every 2 months and go visit her.
Well,
and I've met some of these
arranged marriage. How about that? I got this son. Come over here for a minute. Come over here. Let me show you something.
Oh, wait, no, hold on. No. I'll go call her out the kitchen now. We can make this thing happen right here.
Come on now. This is one of them right here. Hey, I got arranged marriage. We're gonna get you an arranged marriage. Come on in. So
what's his name?
This is Dennis the third. What we're gonna do is we're gonna arrange a marriage for you. You ready? That's gonna be your new father-in-law right there.
What's up, Dennis?
Hey,
good to meet.
Yeah.
Dennis, you can smile.
Talk to the man. So he's an engineering student. What kind of engineering is it again?
Civil
engineer. Very smart, good at math, real quiet. And he worked hard to help.
We're about to make this thing happen, young blood.
You ready to get on there? You ready?
Say yes. We can work. Me and your dad gonna work with you, so don't worry about it.
Yeah, but he's gonna go to law school and help dad. He works at my law firm now.
I love it. I love it.
Probably construction law. We don't know what's gonna happen, but yeah, I got two more too. I got two more.
And I got look.
Okay.
This show has gone off the rails.
Thank you. So go ahead. It's okay.
Bless you, Dennis. Like, because the joke. Okay, this is the theory, though. Dennis, feel free to try. Okay, this is the theory. If the parents like one another, the kids are not going to have as many struggles. If the parents like one another, it's not going to be, us trying to say, y'all going to come over here for Thanksgiving and Christmas. But no, y'all gonna go over. No, we're gonna go to Houston with you. I like Dennis and his family. We heading too.
Yeah, man.
Right, but see,
it holds some time. Yeah.
But if the parents don't like one another, the poor children they stuck.
Yeah. I got another one I can get rid of too. Come on with it real quick. Come on. There's another one. Now, he ain't quite ready. He's still in the oven. Now, he's going to go to medical school.
What's up, man? How are you?
I'm good.
Oh, I like him. I like him already. I like them both.
So look here. He has a couple of daughters.
Okay.
And I figured I can go ahead and get rid of y'all. You like Georgia?
Yes.
You've been to Georgia before.
I've never been to Georgia.
We're gonna change that. We're gonna change that before the summer's over.
Get you out of here. Okay, you get you on up out of here and get you. He's a great student. Come to
UGA. Go to UGA.
No.
You 16. You're a man. You 16. We get you on out of here and you'll be ready. Get your wife and get your own house. And you'll be looking just like that in the front.
There you go.
There you go. Lose your hair right there at the top.
Right.
He ain't
you see what they did to me, though.
They do. See, that's your future right there. See that? That's your future. See mine? I used to have a hairline down here. But all that nice hair on your head, it's gonna be gone. Get you stressed out. But now he's gonna go to medical school. He's straight A student. That's Roman.
I love it.
Mr. J is
nice meeting you, man.
We're gonna revisit this in about 5 years. I'm gonna get you.
No, we're about to revisit this in a couple of weeks. Dennis, you about to bring them on over here to Atlanta. Remember, you raised your hand. You already committed. You committed. Now I didn't say it might be live studio though. I might have to add a caveat. It's live studio. So you got to bring them.
Oh man, this is too much fun, man. Let brother, I appreciate. Yeah, I'm gonna have to talk to them a little more. They seem like they like,
bro. It's what is it? It's 8:00. It's 9:00 in the morning, man. Dad talking about getting married. Yeah, he's like, look, Dad, I'm in here trying to make cereal, man. What you talking about, Dad?
Very helpful. I made them very helpful. They fight good. They're very helpful, very respectful. You're gonna do great, but they'll be part of your family. There you go.
Well, there we go.
All right, brother. I
love it,
you, man.
Dennis, thank you so much, man. This was a lot of fun, brother. I'm looking forward to doing this again. I'm gonna send you my number and everything like that. Make sure we stay in contact. And whenever you want to, you see, what we'll do is we'll have your boys come here. I'll bring my daughters. We'll do like a live stream of them meeting each other. That'll be it.
Oh man. We'll see how it works, man. But these dudes, they very quiet. That's the other thing. They
seem quiet. They look quiet.
But that goes with the discipline. You see what I'm saying?
That's okay.
They don't feel nervous and they don't need to talk unnecessarily. You see what I'm saying? And I tell my wife, and I'm gonna say this, and I'm gonna let you go. I got another son.
Yeah.
And unfortunately, I decided that I got this father thing, and I had a child outside of wedlock. You see what I mean? And so it's been a 10-year legal battle, but I finally got him, and she realized just how. And she comes from a traditional home, mother, father, and she realized the difference between my two older sons and my youngest. See, he talks nervously. He sit at the table and talk. The other two, for the first 4 or 5 years, they would just sit there, eat, and be quiet. They didn't say nothing. And she just like, why don't they talk? I'm like, because they know we don't talk at the table. They don't have anything to talk about. They only speak when they're spoken to. They're very disciplined boys. This is 10 and 8, 9, 10 years old. And she like, wow. And then I'm like, well, this is how we do it. And then the little one started coming around about 4 years ago. And he just talking, just say anything you want to say. One time I said, son, you talk too much. Blah, blah, blah. You go upstairs. Since you talking to someone, you don't need to eat. And I send him to bed. Then he learned not to talk at the table. You see what I'm saying? And I know that might sound harsh, but the last thing you want to be sitting around is a man who's sitting there talking and talking and talking and talking and talking. You've been in rooms like that where you got to do this talking and talking. It's annoying to men and women. And so this is not just, is it about teaching your sons emotional control, but teaching them how to comport themselves around men so they could be more attractive to women. You see what I'm saying? Without having to speak. I tell my sons all the time, you don't have to drive a Mercedes-Benz if you are the Mercedes-Benz. You see what I'm saying?
Very nice. I like it. Yeah.
Physically fit. Conduct yourself like a man. It's the masculinity. It's the training. It's the way in which you carry yourself. You don't need game. I don't have game. Okay. I tell brothers, I don't have no game. I don't like game. I don't like gamesmanship. I'm not a player. I'm just a man. And I comport myself and I conduct myself like a man.
As a man.
My wife will tell you that is the biggest aphrodisiac that she has. And I have a beautiful, gorgeous wife, just gorgeous, and she just adores me for whatever crazy reason is. I don't know why this woman married me.
Praise God for her.
But yeah, that's what I'm trying to recreate my son. So a man like you, when you meet my sons and he meets your daughter, you be like, yeah, I like that young brother. You see what I'm saying? I want you to be proud to have him on you understand what I'm saying, brother?
Yeah. And you're on the you're already on the button. So we're already on our next show. So the next Dennis and Jason show. I'm telling you, Dennis, don't be surprised. The next show is going to be live. That's all I'm going to say. Don't be surprised. It's going to be in studio guests.
Man, you like that Marine Corps recruiter that tried to get me, man. I'm like, look, sir, I'm only 16. I can't just, but you're good at what you do. Okay, I'll be back. I'll come back.
Come on. We're going to get you back. We're going to get you back. Dennis, go do great things today. Tell your family, thank you for allowing us to hang out with you this morning. This was a lot of fun. You already solemnly swore, brother. So
I said it. I'll be back.
So go ahead and start looking at tickets. How much is it to fly out here to Hartsville Jackson? I'm gonna pick you up. I'm just saying.
Okay, brother.
I'm just saying.
I hear you. I hear. I'm gonna pray on it. I'm gonna pray on it.
I got the answer for you. The answer is look on Trip, whatever it's Delta. That's the answer.
Okay.
Dennis, thanks so much, man. This was a lot of fun this morning. Hey, we'll do this again. Either way, whether it be live or on camera, we'll do it again real soon, man. Thanks again, brother. Take care. Grace and peace now. Bye now. Thank you so much for tuning in to another episode of the JWhit Podcast. If you enjoyed today's show, please do me a favor and hit me up with that 3-piece special. Like the video, subscribe, and of course, share it with somebody who would also enjoy this type of content. And make sure you leave a comment because I do pin the best comments to the top. So thank you so much for tuning in today. And until next time, everybody, grace and peace.